But then let's talk blended family, right? I explained to my wife that although I'm a father figure to her children, her biological children, I feel like I have to be a different type of dad toward all three of them differently, right?
Right.
The oldest, he's 20. So when I talk to him, being a father toward him, it's different talks to what I would have with a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's 20. I'm like, hey, man, listen, you're getting older. I need you to be responsible. I need to make sure, you know, you're making the right decisions because you're at that age where things happen like children and, you know, or you're old enough, if you get in trouble, you go to jail. Like, you're like grown man status now. And actually, I've been saying he's 20. He's actually 21.
Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, he's like full grown man status. And
Mm.
so the way I would be a father toward him would be something totally different to what I would be, you know, the father to the 12-year-old.
Right.
I'm fighting with
Absolutely.
the 12-year-old about like, hey man, it's bedtime. You got to cut these games off, kind of thing,
Man.
you know. And then, you know, being a father to our oldest daughter, just, you know, being like a support system for her, like in the sense of like, hey, you know, I'm here to let you know, like, I am here if you need me. I'm here as an ear if you need to talk or, you know, because, you know, I think she is one that's used to being in the nest. And so now that she's staying on campus at the college, it could be
Uh-huh.
a lot different for her. It's a life change for her, right? So it's pretty big.
Yeah, y'all got that gambit of just, and so your skill set has to be
Yeah.
like, you have to have bandwidth, to be able to talk to a younger child, talk to an adult, and you have to put on those different hats. Like, okay,
And to
here's my
be
adult
honest,
hat.
and now that I think about it, man, I feel like God prepared me. He
How?
prepared me. Well, you know, prior to even like being married or anything like that, I've been in relationships in the past where the lady that I might have been involved with at that time had another kid. And so, you know, you
Mm.
find yourself being around the children. And so you just learn how to communicate with them. You learn what their temperament is like, right? And not all kids are the same, right? And then, you know, just one of those things where it's like even blended family children are not the same, right?
Right.
So, and I learned from the children in the communities that I served,
Mm.
right? So it's just a collective thing, man, where you pick it up and learn as you go in all the different environments you're in.
You talked about communicating. You talked about communicating with your children. You talked about communicating with children when you were a police officer and just kids in the neighborhood. I want to shift gears a little bit, still talk about communication, but I want to talk about your communication with your child's mom. How do you currently communicate with your child's mom? Because I always talk to fathers about, having strong relationships with the mother of their children. What's that communication like with her, and what are some challenges that you may face?
Okay, so both of my children both have different moms. So my
Okay.
daughter has her mom is different from my son's mom, right? My daughter's mom prefers to only talk via text or email,
Oh
right?
wow.
Because
Wait, y'all don't talk on the phone. Y'all meet up in
I
person.
mean,
Just cordial exchanges.
very seldom, very seldom. It's
Mm,
the point where I feel like everything is very legalized with her,
mm,
right? You know, I think it's for like paper trail purposes, right?
right, man.
Yeah, it's very like paper trail purposes. Versus my son's
So,
mom, I can text her, I can call her, you know, and
mhm.
I'm not actively beefing with neither one of them, but it's just they're just different.